Hello. It's Hollywood's biggest morning, or it was on Tuesday. But you know what's funny? Part of the fun of Oscar morning is like being all buzzed on caffeine and adrenaline and like being there at the Academy when it happens. And then this year they're like, we're just going to put it out on Twitter.
That's good.
Screw all y'all.
Why I don't blame them, you know.
I mean, it probably saves them a lot of money.
No
A
one
lot of
likes waking up
hassle.
that early. I don't
It's
care what
fun.
anyone says.
It's super fun. Anyway, I did it for years.
When I cared about the Oscars, I got up that early. And now that I don't,
Why
I don't.
why did you stop caring?
Because
Better question. Why did you start?
Well, I think when you're a little gay kid who loves movies, and I'm not just saying me. I think this has been a universal experience. The Oscars are like your Super Bowl. It's the thing that you care about. You get really excited about it and invested in it. But then as you get older, you actually get to start seeing all the movies. And you see all the movies that get nominated, you see all the movies that don't get nominated, and you realize, oh wait, this is not like an objective standard. It's just this political thing, and then Crash beat Brokeback Mountain. I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Oh,
And it's weird now.
I don't. I still get excited for it. But I hear you. Everything.
I mean, it's interesting. It's a point of discussion, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So La La Land did really, really well.
Yes.
And not
14 nominations.
14.
Which tying.
Titanic and All About Eve. I just want to point out there were far less categories when All About Eve.
That's right.
All About Eve actually has the most wins. Ben-Hur had the most nominations, though, with 14.
No.
No?
No, Ben-Hur has the most wins.
All About Eve and Titanic,
Had
14.
Nominations, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Anyway.
All About Eve only won 6 of the
Yes.
14.
I mean, there's not really a whole lot that is surprising here. There's some little things here and there that made me happy, like Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals made me happy.
The score for Jackie.
The score for Jackie, which is lovely and strange. Mika Levy, who did the score for Under the Skin.
Under the Skin.
we
I thought it
like
would be too
her.
weird for Academy voters, so I was
It
excited
is
about
weird. What surprised you or what made you really happy?
I'm surprised in a sense about Michael Shannon because I think he got one thing from like the broadcast film critics but he didn't get many, and it seemed so obvious that not only would he, but that he should. So the Academy's finally figured out what the other award shows missed, and it seemed to me a strange thing to miss that.
Well, they didn't nominate him for 99 Homes, so that might be sort of their way of like, oh, sorry.
Yeah. 99 Homes seems so small that it's easier to dismiss. I mean, Nocturnal Animals, I don't know. I don't have numbers in front of me. My imagination is that Nocturnal Animals got seen by 3 or 4 times as many people as 99 Homes. I mean, I just remember, I saw 99 Homes in Telluride, like, it seems like 5 years ago. And it showed up, and I loved it, but until the end.
I'm happy that Hell or High Water got so many. That's great. It's sort of surprising that Amy Adams did not get a Best Actress nomination because she pretty much is a rival and has to act alone a lot.
The theory is that it's often we don't know about the voting. We don't see the numbers.
Right.
Right. But people, and we even say it on TCM all the time that we say that that votes get split when multiple people from a movie are in, allowing someone else to win, but. We don't know that that's actually true. We don't see the votes, but the theory is that she was so good, both in Nocturnal Animals, which they nominated Shannon for, suggesting the Academy at least saw it and paid attention to it. And I think she was better in Nocturnal Animals than in Arrival. I just think it was a tougher role, but it's possible that she worked against herself. And if she'd only done one movie, she might have been nominated for it. That's what I read.
Who knows?
It's also a really crowded category for Best Actress this year.
Oh, totally.
There are a lot of wonderful performances didn't get nominated.
Annette Bening.
Rebecca Hall, Kate Beckinsale, Love and Friendship.
So your Best Actress category is Isabelle Huppert, Ruth Negga, Meryl Streep, Natalie Portman. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
And one more.
And Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, of course. Duh.
Yeah. Meryl Streep, just legally required to be nominated every time she does a performance.
Yeah, like she steps to the plate and gets to hit the ball no matter what.
And she's good in Florence Foster Jenkins, but
Did I
my
get that
God,
right?
the competition this year.
Yes,
What'd you say?
Did I get the sports thing right?
You stepped to the plate and hit the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't even notice it. Yeah.
That's football.
That's how good it was.
Yeah.
Should we mention, I guess we should just for posterity.
It was a little vague.
What
Like, you need a little specificity.
Sorry.
Yeah.
What else got nominated for Best Picture? La La Land, Arrival, Lion, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Moonlight, Hacksaw Ridge. And
Yeah, so
Manchester by the
there's
Sea,
the
and
surprise,
Fences.
is that not only Hacksaw Ridge getting one of 9 nominations for Best Picture isn't so much a surprise, but Mel Gibson being nominated for Best Director.
The Return of Mel.
All is forgiven, apparently.
Return of Mel. I got a Best Director nomination as well.
Yeah.
Look, there were only so many World War II movies that came out this year. They had to put something in there.
Yeah.
No, and again, I think there's a lot to recommend about Hacksaw Ridge. I think that it is an accomplishment in a lot of ways. It's just interesting when you look at when you look at how the last year treated Nate Parker and Casey Affleck and Mel Gibson. I think there's a discussion to be had there about what taints you in the public sphere and what doesn't, or what goes away and what doesn't. I don't know. We all have our own opinions. I'm not saying that I have an answer on this, but it's just a thing to observe.
Casey Affleck seems thoroughly untouched, though, by the allegations against him. Go ahead. Yeah.
It is. Well, first of all, no, I'm not going to say it because it's too dangerous. It's crazy that we've entered a world. It's too dangerous to even comment on. But Mel Gibson saying the words, "I hope you get raped by a pack of N-words." On tape. It just strikes me that I would have guessed that would be it. Like, that is not recoverable from. And it turns out, over time, it is. It helped, obviously, clearly, that he was drunk. It helped in terms of rehabilitation, that drinking played a role. Jodie Foster was in this room where I talked to her, and I asked her about Mel, and she was super kind and thoughtful to answer and didn't run from the question at all. And clearly it helps just that his friends sort of stuck by them as much as they could. They didn't stick by him in the sense that they were going to go out publicly and say, hey, it's not a big deal. But clearly they kept at it, and having important friends say, hey, stop drinking, and you were a tremendous ass to say that. And maybe racist. Well, not maybe racist.
Yeah.
That's racist.
Yes, racist.
And sexist, and dangerously so. But you've been a really decent guy for a long time, and so we're going to stand with you.
And you're good at your job.
And you're good. And that she pointed that out too, and that obviously helps. I liked Hacksaw. I love war movies. I thought the slow motion guys on fire. Like, I was like, I got it. The eighth time I saw guys. So to me, so that for Mel Gibson, I didn't think. I don't mind nominating Mel Gibson. It's fine. I got no problem with it. I don't know that we should even be making those stands in general. But
I'm just saying it's interesting coming off of this sort of public trial of certain nominees and not certain other nominees, and what gets forgiven and what doesn't. And but
there could have been a rebellion against people who resented that movement. Like, what? Don't tell me what I'm supposed to do. Mel goddamn Gibson.
And the thing is, like, people love to say, oh, well, the Academy thinks this, or the Academy snubbed that guy. And it's like, again, it's a whole bunch of people voting independently, not talking to each other about it, and we never know who comes in sixth.
That's right.
So it's like, we're talking about a majority of voters decided this thing, or just whatever, but it's all a crapshoot.
I think that both because of to me the painful melodrama at times in Hacksaw Ridge would have had. I don't mind Gibson being nominated. This is to me a strange. Slightly strange choice. It's not. It's good.
Yeah,
I got it.
No.
But there's no Sully. Like I think Sully. I think Tom Hanks deserves to be there, and I think Sully. Again, no one's outraged that Clint Eastwood and Tom Hanks didn't. They've done fine. I'm sure Hanks will continue to do fine. I'm just surprised. Like, I think that performance was tougher than what Andrew Garfield did. But again, it was all. That movie felt so heavily layered and extra melodrama.
If they were going to nominate Andrew Garfield, I'd rather they do it for Hacksaw Ridge than for Silence. I don't think he's good in that.
As long as there's some sort of religious persecution going on with Andrew Garfield in Japan in the past.
That's true. Oh, you're right. Yes.
He had an
There's a
here.
theme here. I hadn't thought about that.
One of the films everyone was kind of upset about being snubbed was Sing Street not getting a single nomination for Best Original Song.
Yes.
The music category is weird.
Yeah, Drive It
really
Like You Stole It. Damn it.
Better. It was certainly that category. I'm not a Best Picture fan for that movie or anything, but
the songs, man. I just remember because of my personal obsession, but the Wrestler wasn't nominated for Best Song. It was such a beautiful song.
No, the Springsteen song.
The Springsteen song, and you're like, I get it, didn't have to win, and there were only 3 nominees that year. I'm like, what are you, is it insane? Hey, Bruce Springsteen wrote a song for a movie, and it was really good and sweet, and
I think everybody did probably some version of what I did yesterday. It was like, what the hell is Jim the James Foley story? Who did the Sting? That was I haven't even heard the song, but it's Sting. So okay,
We should mention really fast that there's a nice group of diverse acting nominees
Yes.
here for the first time in a long time.
Definitely, although as even the person who founded the hashtag Oscar So White last year was like, well, this is a good start, but like it's not just about more black nominees. Like Dev Patel is in there as our one Asian acting nominee, but like, there could be more presence of Latinos and
Right.
other people of color from around the world. But yes, definitely.
We're getting there.
A step has gone forward, and again, we'll never know, is it because they so radically changed the voting?
Clearly that didn't
populace?
hurt.
It didn't hurt, but also do we then think that in a year that gave us Fences and Hidden Figures, would those movies have been ignored by the previous voting audience? I mean, who knows?
Well,
There's no control in this
Moonlight.
experiment.
We'll never know. But
And
I mean,
Moonlight,
to your
yeah.
point about that it's political, and the Oscars So White movement was political. It might have been justified or righteous, right? But I mean, and you would hope that if it was done well, the Academy certainly. The leadership in the Academy responded to it in, I thought, a really thoughtful way. So it probably it would appear that it made a difference, but we don't know. This might have happened anyway.
The timing of when films get
released,
developed
right.
and when they come out. And
I mean,
happen,
my thing with Oscar So White was that that's one end of the assembly line, but we also have to be looking at the other end of the assembly line, which is like what movies
Who's greenlighting
get greenlit in
these
the first place.
movies?
Yeah,
Well, that's the much more important end, because theoretically, especially as eventually the Academy gets younger and more open and more progressive, probably is what happens when you get younger. Is that then if that assembly line changed, then just by the natural course there'll be more diversity on the end in nominees.
It was also interesting. This was, I think, the first year that 2 of the screenplay nominees were black. 4 of the 5 documentary nominees were black directors, and I think Barry Jenkins is the first black director to be up for picture, director, and screenplay simultaneously.
It's very exciting. And then I'm really happy that The Lobster got a screenplay
Yay!
nomination. That was our LAFCA pick for best screenplay, and it's not going to win, but I'm really happy that it's in there.
That it's in there, totally.
Screenwriting
Yeah.
categories
People
usually
will
have
see
like
it.
that one cool nomination,
the
like
Ghost World.
Nightcrawler
Yeah.
or something like that. Pixar is not up for best animated feature, and that's a really rare occurrence.
True,
You
yeah,
have to
I-
really make
Yeah.
a Cars
Yeah.
movie. Finding Dory.
Finding
Finding
Dory.
Dory.
One of the
Yeah,
biggest movies of the year.
I was surprised that Disney managed to get 2 of their Disney branded movies in
Right.
there.
Moana
Yeah.
and Zootopia are in there.
Yeah.
Zootopia is probably your front runner, I would say.
I would say so. But Kubo and the Two Strings is nominated.
love
My
Red
Life as a
Turtle.
Zucchini and the Red Turtle.
I love.
I would have liked to see Your Name in there, but what are you going to do? I think my one that is still Tom Bennett. Tom Bennett
he
for
was
Love
so
and
funny in
Friendship.
that movie.
So very funny.
Yeah,
I
he
think
was
that would have been a
really
great
funny.
supporting actor nod. But
And so would Kate Beckinsale.
And Kate
for
Beckinsale, no
Best
question.
Actress. I mean, it's
And-
not like anybody who got nominated doesn't deserve it.
No, they're all good. It's just we can be frustrated, and now it's not down for posterity, which is how a lot of people look at it.
So Dave Carter responded to a tweet of mine when I said, I was just saying something about that Sully lost to not a movie, like because there could have been 10 and there are only 9.
Oh,
Like,
right.
You're saying Sully wasn't as good as nothing, right? And I would say the same thing about Sing Street, which to me is, was certainly more enjoyable than many of the movies nominated for Best Picture, and they're all good. But he said it's really hard to get to 10. And then
there's a whole math thing.
There's
Yeah.
It would take too long to explain. Over Twitter, it requires a drink.
It basically, I think people have to, they're not just submitting a list of their favorite movies, but a ranked list, and then movies have to hit a certain score based on how many people
percentage
voting.
of number ones.
Exactly,
is
yes.
basically the gist of it,
But
and
anyway,
you have to lie.
but it's okay. Like if they can be 10, they shouldn't make it impossible to get to 10, whatever the math is.
Well,
like if Sing Street or Sully were also nominated,
I don't understand the value.
the
of
award show wouldn't be cheapened.
I don't understand the value of like the maybe we'll get to 10 or maybe it'll be 6 this year. I mean, is it that exciting?
Well, I like that there's, again, we're obsessed in this country, maybe all over the world, but I don't know anything about the rest of the world because, fuck them, America's number one.
America first.
But like, we're obsessed with 5 and 10. Like, everything, like there's no, I like the idea that, no, there are 8 this year. But there just seems to be a
I
couple
think
other
I think
movies.
having to have 10 every year opens up
Yeah,
to like
sure.
The Blind Side. You know, like I think if there's a score involved in earning a place in there beyond 5, I think that's an okay.
I like The
compromise.
Blind Side better than Hacksaw Ridge. It's a great comparison.
Okay.
Hot take.
Yeah.
I will say one other thing I really, really liked, and it's something that happened since they expanded the Best Picture category. Well, several years, there have been pretty much every acting nominee was represented in Best Picture, and this year it's a bit more diverse than that.
Oh,
There's a lot of acting nominees who don't have
like
Best Picture
Viggo
nominees.
Mortensen, yeah.
Viggo
Yeah.
Mortensen, Meryl Streep. There's
Michael
actually
Shannon.
several. Yeah, they actually spread that out a bit. It's clear they didn't just watch 10 movies this year.
Right. And what's
And I think
cool
that's
also
great.
about just the expanding of the Best Picture out of from the 5 that it was for such a long time is that a movie like Hell or High Water or Arrival even, I think, that might have been considered too genre-y in certain years, like there's room for that to be acknowledged as, no, this is an achievement.
What do you guys think of the idea that because most years the Best Picture and Best Director nominees synced up back when there were only 5 nominees for Best Picture, at least 4 out of 5. What do you think of the philosophy that the Best Director nominees are the real 5 Best Picture nominees? I've heard that
So
touted
that
a
would be
lot.
Arrival, Hacksaw Ridge, La La Land, Manchester, and Moonlight.
Well, don't only the directors pick the director nominees and then everybody votes on them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I don't buy that theory.
I'm just saying people say it. I just wanted to bring it up as a topic of conversation.
Well, but even the
more
directors,
tricky now.
directors may vote for Best Director, but again, it's not like they're totally different people. They would be, they are a sample of the.
Sure, no, I get it.
So that would mean So that would mean that Fences, Hell or High Water, Lion, and Hidden Figures have no chance.
They probably don't. I mean, let's be honest here.
right.
La La Land is going to win this.
That's true.
Whether we
They
like
all-
it or not.
I
I like it fine. I just don't know if it's 14 nominations, landslide Oscar wins good.
It's very beautifully made.
Well, I think when you start counting up the numbers, like All About Eve racked up 14 nominations because it had like what 3 acting nominations, 5 acting nominations,
Yeah.
and La La Land obviously had 2 songs and a score, So I mean, I think if movies bring certain things to the table, if Rogue One were considered Best Picture material, you also have all those effects and sound editing and stuff that it would have, going for it. So I don't know that the La La Land. That having that many just reflects the fact that there's a specific category in which it's really kind of goosing its numbers.
I think my perception is this, and my perception of how other people view the Academy Awards and how I used to back before I understood how it worked. If it got 14 nominations, it must be one of the best movies ever made, and I'm worried sometimes that the amount of attention, that the amount of enormous praise, the amount of crazy number of awards being lobbed at La La Land are creating an expectation for that film of people who haven't seen it that perhaps this intimate, nostalgic little musical can't quite meet. And I'm worried that might hinder its chances at being appreciated on its own merits in the long run. Case in point, The Artist, which is a perfectly nice little movie, got kind of overhyped, and now people are expecting something that it's not, and now it's not as popular.
True, although it won, which is I think part of it. But you're right. I think there's something about that many nominations that kind of puts a chip on people's show. Like, well, let's see what you've got then.
The
This is so
backlash to the
great.
backlash has begun.
Yeah, oh,
already.
totally, yes.
All right,
That's
so
right.
I'll backlash that.
February 26th is your night, so maybe we'll do a little Oscar picks thing before the actual Oscar night.
Sure,
we'll
why not?
revisit this topic. Bye.